Hello and welcome to the Pitt Show. I am Matt Grubba here at DK Pittsburgh Sports Radio, ready to talk all things Panthers today. And wow, it's summertime, man. Kids are out of school, that sort of thing. But some big news on the Panthers front, football-wise, for down the road in the future. We'll talk about that real quick. First, let's thank our sponsors. Bazzi Vreeland Associates, the exclusive sponsor for coverage of Pitt Athletics at DKPittsburghSports.com and DK Radio. With several Pitt alums, homegrown Pittsburgh attorneys, and deep roots in the communities of southwestern Pennsylvania, the attorneys at Bazzi Vreeland Associates are proud to bring quality coverage of Pitt Athletics from the top independent sports website in Pittsburgh, DKPittsburghSports.com. And yes, first let's hit football. It's always a great place to start out, and the news coming out that Pitt and Wisconsin, it's going to be maybe a reunion with Paul Chryst, the former coach. Pitt and Wisconsin have agreed to a 2-year home-and-home series. It's going to be way down the pipeline here for 2026-27. So who's to say Paul Chryst is even still the Wisconsin coach at that point? Certainly his first few years there leads to believe he's in for the long haul. But, yeah, it's a big addition to the Pitt schedule, who the Panthers now have at least one Power 5 team booked on their schedule every year through 2028 now. Which, very good for their non-conference strength of schedule. There's obviously still holes to fill in some of these future years. Probably going to be some smaller colleges that fill in some of those spots, but still Pitt looking to upgrade their out-of-conference schedule. Wisconsin, I mean, this is a team that the last 3 years has gone 34-7 overall. They've been to the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl in recent years. A team that is on the way up in the Big Ten, much in the same way Pitt, I'm sure, is hoping these next few years they can start really getting some traction, get rolling in the ACC. It's funny how it came about. You would have to think that the connection between the university and Paul Chryst at Wisconsin had something to do with it, the willingness to work something out. Heather Lyke, Pitt's athletic director, said working it out with Barry Alvarez, who's the Badgers' former football coach, was their longtime coach, and he's now the athletic director at Wisconsin. They were able to work something out. Being somewhat regional with Wisconsin certainly helped out both major conference teams. It's a good pairing, and Pitt and Wisconsin have some history more so in basketball than they do in football. They actually haven't met in football since 1967. And they've only played 3 times, Pitt winning all 3 meetings. The other 2 were back in the 1930s, which, ancient history. It's a good game to really add to that schedule and to grab a Big Ten team so soon after the news came out that Penn State wasn't interested in continuing the rivalry. Pitt actually gets an upgrade, at least based on Penn State's record the last 3 years versus Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you're getting the second best Big Ten team behind Ohio State. And so, of course, with these games being in 2026-27, that's way too far to project where both of these programs will be at that time. But to get that nice, stable matchup, that's a good one. You look at the other big matchups Pitt has for the years to come. Obviously, Penn State for the next 2 years. From 2020 to 2028, 4 of those years they're going to be playing Notre Dame. Home and home with Tennessee coming up. 4 years renewing the backyard brawl starting in 2022 with West Virginia. They've also got, even though they're not a Power 5 team, home and home coming up with Cincinnati. So the Panthers are really doing a good job of keeping that schedule at a place where, let's shoot for the stars. If they are to start contending in the ACC and coming close to division titles, ACC title games, they're positioning their out-of-conference schedule well enough that if they can get to an ACC title game and win it, they will be in the conversation for the national playoff, for the 4-team playoff. Or, again, we're looking so far in the future, who's to know if the format will have changed by then. That's the beauty of college football, or maybe the curse of it, the way that every few years we change how the champion is crowned, from the polls to the BCS, now the playoff. But yeah, I'm as somebody covering the team, I'm excited for games like that. It's good to challenge Pitt, and yeah, it's entirely possible when you look through all those games, Penn State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, West Virginia, now Wisconsin on the schedule, there's probably going to be some losses in there, and that's not a bad thing. because you want to keep your program in the conversation with schools like that. So, hats off once again to Heather Lyke for helping to put this together. I mean, she keeps knocking it out of the park as an athletic director. And, I mean, as a Pitt fan, I don't see how you can be unhappy with this announcement, especially in light of if Penn State saying no, well, let's get a team that has, in recent years, been just as good, if not better, in your conference. So after we come back from this little break we're going to take here, we've got a little bit of Pitt basketball news to touch on. Also, would be remiss without talking a lot about the Pitt baseball team making a little bit of history down in Durham, North Carolina, and they're going to be playing through the weekend. So hats off to Coach Giordano. We'll talk more about that in just a moment here on the Pitt Show on DK Sports Radio.
Injured in an accident? Need assistance in preserving your business's interests? Let the attorneys at Bassey, Vreeland & Associates protect your legal rights. For over 65 years, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates has been representing the citizens and businesses of southwestern Pennsylvania. With offices strategically located in Washington and Charleroi, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can deliver results for you throughout the Pittsburgh area. Visit www.bmvlaw.com or call 724-228-7000 to see how Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can meet your legal needs. Bassey, Vreeland & Associates. We fight, we care, we win.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this cool new website, stepoutside.org. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, or hunting. Or take part in power sports, shooting sports, or water sports in your local community or across the country at stepoutside.org, where everything you need to know is just a click away. That's stepoutside.org.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts
who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues, with the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit schneiderdowns.com.
Injured in an accident? Need assistance in preserving your business's interests? Let the attorneys at Bassey, Vreeland & Associates protect your legal rights. For over 65 years, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates has been representing the citizens and businesses of southwestern Pennsylvania. With offices strategically located in Washington and Charleroi, Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can deliver results for you throughout the Pittsburgh area. Visit www.bmvlaw.com or call 724-228-7000 to see how Bassey, Vreeland & Associates can meet your legal needs. Bassey, Vreeland & Associates. We fight, we care, we win.
Welcome back to the Pitt Show here on DK Sports Radio. I'm Matt Grubba, your host, and the man covering all of Pitt athletics for you here at DKPittsburghSports.com. Getting into our second segment here. First, let's once again thanks Bassey, Vreeland Associates, our sponsor here on the show. And first, actually probably best just hit on a quick basketball note. We're coming to the end after Memorial Day weekend coming up. Recruiting will be live once again. The dead period will be over for basketball recruiting after a little 10-day break. And Pitt has a nice scheduled visit coming up. It's been reported that Odisi Toney, a player originally from Alabama, playing in North Carolina now, 4-star recruit, 6'6" guard, wing player, has an official visit scheduled next week to come see the Panthers. You know, he's another guy like Trey McGowan's, who was Jeff Capel's first recruit, and actually the two of them are know each other. They are friends from being in North Carolina together in that area playing AAU ball. You know, he's a guy like McGowan's who right now is listed as class of 2019, but if you'll remember McGowan's, committed out of Hargrave Military Academy and reclassified to the class of 2018 so he could play right away for the Panthers. Well, Jeff Capel still has 2 scholarships available for the new year, and so Tony is a kid that is in the same position. He has the potential that he could reclassify if he found a situation that's a good fit. So this is a guy that could be a recruit for this year or next year. Officially right now he's still a 2019 recruit. But, yeah, a 4-star guy, it's right around the cusp again of a national top 100 player. Jeff Capel's really going after these athletic guards. He's a guy that can play probably all the way up to the 3 in the ACC, maybe in an emergency play the 4, but he's not. He's definitely more of a perimeter player, a wing guy. He fits what Jeff Capel's looking for, and I know that people are going to say, well, he needs help in the post. He needs help in the post. That's true. Can't argue with that. But at this point, when you're sort of rebuilding a roster, sometimes you just got to take the best player available and adjust the way you're playing for a year or two to it. And that's what I think we're going to see from Pitt basketball this year coming up is, maybe we're going to see 3 and 4 guard lineups at times, and Pitt just has to play to their strengths and get the best players on the floor. Does that make it tough against, teams with athletic bigs, 6'9" guys that can stretch the floor? Yeah, it will. But again, we're looking at Jeff Capel trying to make this program competitive right away as opposed to a long-haul rebuild, and I think he's on the way to doing it, and this, is another visit. Pitt doesn't have too many more official visits they can host until August in the new NCAA school year, so this could be a good one for the Panthers. Last thing we got to get to, maybe I'm burying the lead here. Maybe it's the biggest news going on for Pitt, even though it's in a sport that doesn't get quite the recognition as football or basketball, but the Pitt baseball team making it to the ACC tournament for the first time in 5 years in the conference. We spoke about that the last time we recorded one of these podcasts. Awesome. Well, now here they are Wednesday night going toe-to-toe with the top seed and number 5 ranked team in the country, North Carolina, and the Panthers pull out a 5-4 win to win Pool A, advance to the semifinals of the ACC tournament, and keep alive some outside hopes of if they can win the thing, they'll clinch the automatic bid. Pitt, not a team really in the running for an at-large to the NCAA tournament, but, they're making a little history down in North Carolina, and being the 12th seed going into it, they actually get the benefit now of what's supposed to be a schedule where they get walked over based on their seeding. They have 2 days rest from the Wednesday game to Saturday's semifinal, and then the final Sunday possibly. It's a great moment for them, and it's been terrific pitching that they've gotten in their 2 wins. First they get a 2-1 win in their opening game Tuesday. Senior Matt Pittich, who's been, their number 1 the whole season, just throws 7 innings, 1-run ball, just a great outing in that first one. Second game looked like the offenses might be what drives the game. It was 3-3 against North Carolina after 3 innings, but the Panthers go to their bullpen, and Derek West comes out there, goes 5 innings without allowing a run, and just keeps North Carolina, who's a team that is in contention for a top seed in the NCAA tournament. Again, I mentioned they're ranked number 5 in the country coming into it. West was able to keep them off balance long enough. Pitt was down 4-3 at one point, brings across 2 runs in the 7th inning. They hold on to win it 5-4, and just a great moment for them. They'll be back in action against a team to be determined on Saturday in the semifinals. So that'll about do it for the Pitt Show. Congrats to Coach Giordano and his team. Thank you to our producer, as always, Chris Benson, doing the good work. Thanks to Bazzie Vreeland and Associates. And that's going to do it here on DK Sports Radio. Thanks for listening.